Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just put your hand up or something. Gina, I can see you. Can you hear me, Gina? Macy? Hi, Macy. I don't know you, but I know you now. Hi. Okay, you guys can hear me okay. Wonderful. We'll get started in about 2 minutes here. Thanks for being on. My hair looked so funny in the Facebook Zoom that I just did, but looks a little better now. Isn't it so funny? You see yourself in real life and you're like, I look cute. And then you go on camera and you're like, what happened? What happened in the 7 seconds that I walked from the bathroom mirror to being in front of the camera? Whatever. The best thing you can do in this business is just get over yourself, right? Amen. You guys all know that. If you don't, you will. So thanks for being on, everybody. If you want to go ahead, I would love, before we get started, do you guys mind putting in the chat just where you're listening in from? I would love that. Your city and your state or country. I know we're all over the place. I would just love to see that. So just pop in there. Just say, hey, listening from, wherever. Tennessee. Hi, Shelly Nelson. Sacramento. I don't know why I said that's Spanish. It's California. It's not Spanish. Oh, gosh, guys. The UP. I sound like a Youper. Do you guys know that? It's because all you Youpers trained me for 10 years of my business. And Melissa, I sound like, oh, do you guys hear that pounding? That's a fireworks happening. I live by a county fair, so I'm going to close it. Oh, awesome. Oh, I love seeing where everyone's listening in from. Great, great, great. Okay, so if you are new on these calls, maybe this is your first call or whatever team you're on, whoever, whatever. If you have anyone that's on your team that might be newer and they're not used to being on these calls or anything, just send them a little reminder message with the Zoom code and just ask them, just say, hey, just want to send a little reminder. If you're like me, this is my first call. Yay, Amy. If this is your first call, go ahead and put it in there. I would just love to know. It takes some time to get into the I call it the Arbonne groove, where like there's the training calls or the activities that you have or whatever. So it's good to just have a little reminder sent sometimes. So you guys can see I'm all red. I get nervous when I do calls. Do you know that? Everyone gets nervous when they go live, just a little bit, whether or not they show it or feel it or whatever. Your body gets this just a little bit of adrenaline when you have an audience, and mine just shows up on my neck. We have cream for that, I'm sure. So Hamburg, that's my jam. That's where I live. Okay. Oh, Beth, thank you. That's so kind. All right, it's 9:31, so we're gonna get started. I'm a real sucker for being on time, so a minute late. That's okay. Well, maybe I'll have a little grace. I am gonna close my window though, because as much as I love fireworks, it sounds kind of weird having in the background. So hang on, everybody. Okay, wonderful. Someone said this is their first live. Oh, I'm so excited for you guys. Watertown, Sybil. Hey guys, hey everyone. Hey. I think everyone's catching on. Post where you're listening in from. All the alarms start going off and everyone starts getting on. Oh, thank you guys for being with me tonight. I want to have an awesome time together. If that's okay. I'd really love to have an awesome time with you. I just did a Discover on a Facebook Live, and I just really shared from my heart about what it was like to be introduced to Arbonne and why I started. I didn't get too much into my story because I just felt I just prayed before that, and I just felt like there's people on here that just need to get off the fence. And the details of my story isn't going to do that. Sometimes people just need like a little bit of the story and just a lot of the simplicity of like, why should you do this? Like, why should people get started in Arbonne? And I think sometimes that makes us excited. Oh, Sarah Barber's in Michigan with her family. That's awesome. So I didn't get to share a lot of my, I call it the messy middle of my story. But if you guys were listening to that, you did get to hear some of the beginning. And that was just basically a story about how busy I was. So I don't know if any of you guys are building an Arbonne business while you're busy. Anybody else busy? We got some hands raised. We got the chat flowing. I'm so bad at muting people, but I'm going to do it.
Hey, look.
Wait. I think I got it. Nope. Keep staying on mute. Nope. How did we do? Nope. How'd I do?
Hey, Val, do the participant.
I have it pulled up and it's just like flashing, like when I put my thing over people's names. Okay, I think I got it. Did I accidentally mute you, Carleeta?
Yeah, it's okay. It just says mute all, so you're good. You muted me. You're good.
Thank you so much. If you are technically challenged, you too can do Arbonne, you guys, just so you know. There's grace and space for everybody. So anyway, I did share that Discover. So if you feel like there's people that you have just like on a fence, like, I just got to push them over, that might be a good Discover to connect them to. And you can ask your sponsor, what the heck is she talking about? It's the Discover Arbonne Live Facebook group, and you can connect people to that. So what I want to do with you guys tonight is just be really real. If that's okay. I think that it's so important in this business because we show up in the spaces where people are. That anytime that we can be just truly authentic and just learn to be really comfortable in our own skin. And I don't mean not having pimples. The products will help you with that, or not having wrinkles. The products will help you with that. But being comfortable in our own skin, what does that mean? What does that look like? I know there's some people on here who this is like your first call. Some of you just started Arbonne. Some of you still think it's called Airborne, but you signed up for a discount. We're proud of you. Some of you have been in Arbonne for years. Wherever you're at, I think it's a really important reminder for us, especially as we teach other people, what does that really mean to be comfortable in your own skin? What does it mean to be authentically you? And what does that look like carrying that out in a really successful and productive way? And I was thinking about that today when I was thinking about this call and how I wanted to share this. And I decided to start with an example of something that actually happened today. And that's dangerous in a training. You don't want to necessarily talk about something that like just happened today, but it was so relevant to this. And I realized how this one thing that happens that will happen to you, and that does happen to you, and that may already have happened to you, how much it can affect who we are, how we are, and how we carry out the rest of our day or the rest of our business and things. So I'll start off by asking you this question before I share. So what do all of these things have in common? Oh, I should introduce myself. Some of you guys don't even know who I am. I'm Valerie Makowitz. I'm National Vice President with Arbonne. I'm an independent consultant. I've been at Arbonne for 10 years. If you know Sarah Barber, she's in the Buffalo, New York area. She's my sponsor. It's amazing. We have the most incredible upline. If you're new to this call, these calls, Carleeta, Shelly, Legina, everybody. I know there's all of your NVPs and everyone. They're just all fantastic. But I was introduced to Arbonne. I used the products for a year before I got started. So be really kind to the people who are telling you no, because someday they stop telling you no and say yes. And if you don't think they're it's gonna be really hard for them to do that. But I'm really glad that Sarah believed that maybe I would, so that when I did say yes, I had somewhere to land. So someone's yes needs somewhere to land, and they need you to believe in them and that they could still do this, even if it's not right now. You need to still be doing this when they're ready, and you just need to make that commitment now. But I built an Arbonne business as a very busy college student. I was a single mom. I was in my early 20s. So I just had a lot working against me. Being in my early 20s, selling anti-aging skincare. I was a single mom. I didn't have support. I was super busy. I had no money. We were eating frozen peas, not just because I didn't like to cook, but because it was cheap. We took green bean walks. I went to the store, I bought bulk green beans. We walked. That's what I did with my daughter for fun and exercise and dinner. So you can imagine buying an anti-aging skincare set for like hundreds of dollars was sort of off the table. But for me, it wasn't, because I needed healthy skincare more than I needed breath. I was so down on myself and my appearances. Like, you guys have no idea. You have no idea what people are struggling with. You have no idea how what you see on the outside is such a facade of what's really happening on the inside. Because anybody else would have looked at me as like, look at that girl. Look at her doing all that. Look at her. She's so accomplished. She's such a go-getter. Look at her go. Guys, I was funneling down a tornado. I wasn't doing any of what I was doing well. I was so broke. I was living off of student loans, so it looked like I had money. I had money, but it was borrowed. None of it was mine. I had so many loans and things because I was a poor single mom. I maxed out everything, and I was like, live the dream. I'm going to federal meets, and I'm going to feed the neighborhood. Like, I was so financially dumb. I really was. I had no clue what I was doing. I was running 100 miles an hour, and I had no structure, organization, or anything for my life. So when Arbonne was brought into it, it was a very slow and steady kind of experience for me. That's not ideal, because I think the longer people take to get started, once they know they might want to do this, the more things that they'll just let be excuses of why they shouldn't. But some people just need time, and I was one of those people. I got started in Arbonne because I was so sick of trying to figure out reasons why I shouldn't, while all these other people were being successful that I had heard stories of and watching. And the person who introduced me to Arbonne 6 months later was still doing Arbonne. And then 6 months after that, she was still doing Arbonne. So can I just really, really encourage you, don't quit. Don't quit now. Don't quit tomorrow. Don't quit in 3 months when something's hard and someone hurts your feelings. Don't quit in 6 months when a couple events cancel or whatever. Don't quit in 6 more months when someone returns some products or gets a stomach ache and tells you they don't like the 30 days or whatever. Don't quit. Do not quit. Do not quit. Raise your right hand. Let's get creepy. I will not quit. This is not what you want to quit. If you want to quit smoking, if you want to quit bickering, if you want to quit fighting, you want to quit negativity, maybe you want to quit go quit something else. Do not quit Arbonne. Arbonne's here to stay. You better be too, or you're going to miss out on the person you planted a seed with a year ago who will need you to still be doing this a year from now so that they can get started and become a national vice president in this company. Someone said amen. Y'all don't want me to preach. You won't like that. So that's my humble step-by-step beginnings. I needed to be able to afford the products. The best way was to be as an independent consultant. I saw the simplicity of sharing this with other people. I understood I was going to have all the support in the world. I felt like I couldn't fail. Nothing was going to be used against me. There was no penalties. There were no hidden fees. There was no wackadoo. It was just everything they said it was going to be. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. That's my story, you guys. And then I proceeded to promote through all of the levels in this company according to company average. My name's Val Makowitz. I'm National Vice President, and I'm average. Do you know that's okay? Some of y'all have barely been in Arbonne a few months or a few years, and you're comparing yourself to all these other people who did it faster or look cuter or whatever, and you're like, I'll never be able to do this. Oh, goodness gracious. That is a lie from the pit. Like, do you know maybe your story is going to be average, or maybe it's not, and you're just in the average part of it? Maybe average is totally relative, and you just made that up and claimed that over yourself because it wasn't as fast or as fancy as someone else, so you feel like you're behind. I'm 100% positive that no one is behind on their own journey. You might be behind on someone else's journey because you're comparing yourself, but there's not one person on this call that is behind or delayed in their own journey. Not one of you. Every single one of us, how many people are on this call? 214 of us. Do you know none of us are going to have the exact same story? Like, please release yourself from feeling like you need to have someone else's story, especially if their story already happened. Please give people the grace and the benefit it, to own their own story, especially if it already happened. You're still walking yours out, and no one can walk yours out for you, but you will cause a huge delay in your own if you are watching and constantly comparing to other people's stories. Celebrate with people who have already done what it is that you're trying to do, because they have proven that it is possible. And instead of saying why you, say thank you. Not why you, not why not me. Thank you. Thank you. And trust that their journey was meant for them and that yours is going to be meant for you. Because boy, if any of us miss the ability to be able to share our journey, because I'll tell you what I know is happening. For some of you on this call, even if you're just getting started, for some of you, you're not sharing your story. You're not sharing the fullness of your story. You're not sharing the beauty of the humble beginnings, or the hesitations, or the climb that you had to make over some mountains and some difficulties or whatever. You're not sharing the beauty and the details of your own story just because it's not like someone else's that you already heard. And so the people who need to hear your story, they're missing out. They're not having the opportunity to hear what your journey has been like. Do you know your journey is so interesting? Do you know that myself and other people are just as inspired? I am so inspired by people who can become a regional vice president in 4 months, like our incredible Carleeta Nelson did. Do you know she's the OG? Carleeta Nelson is the OG of the 4-month region, just in case you guys didn't know. She's the first person to do that. Just saying. And we are that legacy. We get to claim that. Are you inspired by Carleeta? Yeah, right? It's also inspiring when I go to Maui and I'm sitting next to someone who tells me they've been in Arbonne for 12 years. And they got to regional vice president in like 5 months or 6 months. And they were a regional vice president for 11 years. Whoa. Do you know how many times that girl wrote on a piece of paper that she was going to be a national vice president and she wasn't? That's 12 months and 11 years. That's a long time. Wow. Like, wow, right? Own your story. The moment you stop owning your story and being comfortable in your own skin is the moment you put, it's like putting the brakes on. And it's like, nope, this story can't go anywhere because I really wish it was different. No, no, we stopped doing that today. So I felt like somebody needed to hear that today. Or maybe I just needed to say that today. Either way, I hope that was encouraging to you. So anyway, I want to tell you about something that happened today. It's brief because it might happen to you. And so first, let me ask you these questions. What do all of these things have in common? Oh, and if you're like a bulleted person, like you're like, Val, where are the bullets? Where's the 1, 2, 3? I want the ABC. No, go listen to someone else's training. I'm not ABC. I'm VAL and I'm me. And that's how I've been successful in this business. This is what you get. What do these things all have in common? Number 1, scrolling Facebook posts. Number 2, complaining about something that happened to you or that hurt your feelings. I'm trying to sort that out. Number 3, criticizing someone else for some reason. Maybe they're the person who was hurting your feelings, or maybe they're the person you had a disagreement about, so you decided to make some judgments about them and whatever. Number 4, comparing yourself to someone else who does Arbonne. Maybe it's someone in your own team. Maybe it's someone in your own town. Maybe it's someone that you constantly follow posts of or whatever. Comparing yourself to someone else who does not do what you do. That's number 5. Number 6, retelling a story about how someone hurt your feelings and how it was hard, and retelling that story to maybe your husband or your sister or whoever. Number 7, searching the entire house for a chocolate Ghirardelli so that you can eat it and feel better about yourself because all those other things were going on. And you live the 80-20 lifestyle, so you spend a little bit of time justifying how you can eat 80% of that bag of Ghirardelli pieces because you're going to work out for 20 minutes tomorrow because that's the 80-20 lifestyle, right? Okay, what do all of those things have in common? They're kind of weird, right? All of those things took about 5 to 10 minutes of time, energy, and attention. 5 to 10 minutes for each of those things. And you know what else they have in common? I did them all today. Every single one of those things. The long story short is that I had someone who I could not possibly do more for in my life and my family. And they posted the most negative, stupid thing about network marketing. Do you guys know there's negative things out there about network marketing? Right? Do you know there's negative things out there about everything? How many of you guys read, oh, the keto diet, and then you're like, don't do the keto diet. And then it's like, you should be a vegetarian. They're like, don't be a vegetarian, you're going to die. There's negative things about everything. But this person in my family decided to post this thing and start a little verbal ruckus on social media. And it was like, wait, I've never made you pay for any Arbonne in your life, and I give it to you all the time, and I watch your babies, and I do everything for you, and I couldn't possibly do more for you, and you just posted that? Guys, it was the first time in a long time I felt like I got ricocheted. I was like, whoa, felt like a little earthquake. Totally. You're a little teary-eyed. But they're not going to come out because this is the most important thing, you guys. This is the most important thing. Every single one of those things I did, and it took 5 to 10 minutes of my energy and attention and all of that. That's about 30 to 60 minutes that I spent on that event, right? It was someone who doesn't do network marketing, someone who doesn't do Arbonne, someone who actually doesn't work at all and hasn't in a very long time, someone who's always negative about absolutely everything and has no value on their own personal health or other people's health. Which says my internet connection is unstable, and I don't know why. Probably because I have a really important message to share here that's going to really help us. So, okay, I'm good. So all of those things took 5 to 10 minutes of my energy and attention, and it can add up to 30 or 60 minutes for me. It was about 45 minutes. And I was like, I had a moment where I was like, I don't know what to do. Been Arbonne for 10 years. And I'm listening to that hoo-ha. And I'm saying I felt like I didn't know what to do. But here's what I realized. Here's what we have to do, because 30 to 60 minutes is really, really powerful amount of time. And I really want to teach every single one of you what I had to relearn today. There's a saying that says, once you have learned everything, then you can start to learn what you have learned. I think it's John Maxwell that says that. And of course, he says it a little differently and better than that, but that's how I interpret it. Do you know what else takes about 30 to 60 minutes? A Discover Arbonne that shares the business and this opportunity and all that it has to offer with people who are looking for you and hungry to hear what you have to say. Because we aren't looking for the people that aren't looking for us. And we're definitely not looking for the people that aren't looking for what we have. And we're definitely not looking for the people who don't even seek to understand and support what it is that we do. We're not looking for those people. We don't hate those people. We don't need to be negative to those people. Honestly, we don't even have to engage with those people. We're just not looking for those people, right? We are looking for the people who are looking for us. That is not my term. I heard that probably 8 different times from 8 different people, but it's genius. And if you can really, really, really let that in your heart, that's what we're doing. That's what we need to spend our time focused on and giving our energy to. You know what else is 30 to 60 minutes? A presentation. where you share about the products and everything this has to offer, whether it's in person or with someone or out inside someone's home, inside your own home, virtually here, anything like that, that's 30 to 60 minutes of your energy and attention that actually helps build your business, really helps build your business. And so what are the ways that we can transition from being what I was in that moment where I was emotional? My immediate response was emotional. I'll be honest. I mean, and you know, it's hard not to be because I'm sensitive. I always say that. I'm sensitive. No, I'm like emotional. So I take everything personal. And if we can all learn to stop doing that, we'll all be EEE MVPs a million wide. But we have to change as soon as possible in this business, even if today's your first day, when you can stop being emotional, like as an instinctive response, and when you can stop being transformational. There's a time to be emotional and there's a time to be transformational. You want to be emotional when you are passionately sharing about what this business has to offer. You want to be emotional in the direction of passion, right? Passion. That's where you want to be emotional. Yes, Carleeta, that is so stinking good. This is the tipping point. You want to be emotional in terms of passion. And Carleeta is one of the first people who just spoke that word over me when I was a little teary-eyed. She goes, tears are passion. That's what passion is, okay? Make sure your tears are passion and not just like being emotionally crazy. Transformational, that's fine. That's important. You want to be sharing with passion your transformation story, right? You want to be able to share what the products have done for you, what the business has done for you. You want to share the whole thing. That's good too. We don't want to be emotional and transformational when we're interacting or receiving what this person who doesn't do Arbonne, doesn't want to do Arbonne, doesn't have anything good to say about Arbonne. That's not where we want to be emotional and transformational. I'm not going to invest my time and attention into trying to change that person's mind and change what that person thinks and try to no. This is where you need to become transactional. This is a really important word for you. Really important word. I want you to be transactional, okay? I want you to be this way in your words, in your actions, and a couple ways that you can practice being transactional and just transactional thinking. Save all your emotional and all your transformational for the times you are sharing this business and opportunity with people. Save it. You need to be transactional all other times. And this is what that looks like. One of the ways you can be transactional is with your time. 24 hours in a day, right? We trade time for, we invest our time into what we're doing in that time. We fill time, you guys. You're in it. Whether you want to be, whether you know you are, you're filling the time. You're choosing what you're doing with it. So be transactional. What are you doing with your time? Are you chunking your time? Are you working your business when you're working your business? What are you really doing when you're working your business? Is anyone, yep. Scrolling Facebook, petting the dogs, fixing your office, making my shelves all pretty, right? No. Chunk your time with revenue producing activity things. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Another way you can be transactional is to be earlier. Earlier in the idea of just being earlier, it's very transactional. And it causes transformation when I say this. So when it comes to your goals, when it comes to just communicating things that you know you're going to do, whatever, communicating things early, clearly, often, that earlier idea, earlier and sooner, that's transactional. You're trading later for now. That's transactional. And that's what we need to do in this business, to be hopped on and not putting things off for when we feel like it or when we feel better or when it's easier or when we have more time or when whatever, right? Time chunking, which is having your carved out times, 30 to 60 minutes, you choose what you do with it. The 5 minutes that I chose to sit down and scroll Facebook, I had no reason to be doing that. None. It's like a habit. You open it up and you go, bing. Those 5 minutes cost me 55 more and a lot of peace. Shoot. Transactional. The other way that you can be transactional is write down this. Here's an acronym for you, all you type A'ers. Here you go. TYPATR. Type it. What the heck does that stand for? It stands for throw your phone across the room. Throw your phone across the room. If you are using the excuse that you build your business from your phone, if you're using that excuse to have your phone in your hand every second of every day, you have to stop. There is no chance that you are working your business every single second that phone is in your hand, and you know it, and I know it, and y'all know it, and we're all like, yes, I have. No, you're not. You're totally not. We all know we're not. Can we just admit it? Like, I'm not, right? Throw your phone across the room. You have to learn to detach yourself from the muscle memory of just going on social media and doing things that do not build your business, because it takes away from how you could be building your business. And the revenue producing activity that it takes to do that, and I have 1 minute left and I have 1 minute to share, is become an activity and appointment focused beast. You guys have to go into beast mode, absolute beast mode. If your phone is in your hand, you are either calling your granny, making sure she's good, or building your business. Like, seriously, I really want to encourage you, like, really gut check how much are you spending time where it doesn't need to be spent. It is not building your business. It is not building your confidence. It is not building what you need for this business. Because the amount of people that you can be reaching out to in 30 to 60 minutes is enormous. You can reach at least 30 to 60 people in 30 to 60 minutes. In fact, I would even say you could reach out to 100 people in 1 hour. Do you know how? Stop prejudging. Stop looking at a name or seeing a name and taking a moment or a minute to tell yourself why maybe you shouldn't. Why maybe you shouldn't ask that person to take a look at this business. Why maybe, you ever do that? Right? That's what takes you so long. That is what is taking you so long to get through your contact list that you've worked really, really hard to create. That's a cute list, right? Some of us keep that list because we're so afraid of not having more to come back to, and it's actually keeping you from adding to your list of having more names. Stop using your contact list as a security blanket. If you are powering through your contact list, you are adding to it just as fast as you're going through. But if you're using it like a security blanket and spending your phone time not for actually reaching out to people and connecting with people and following up and doing like, 3 thoughtful posts a day? Y'all, that takes 3 minutes, not 30. 3 thoughtful posts a day, right? Whatever rule you follow. Dude, telling you, it's epic. It's so epic. So anyway, what are the activity things? How do you know if you need activity? How do you know if you need appointments? How do you create appointments on your calendar? How do you know? Number 1, you know you need more appointments on your calendar, and you need to create activity if you don't have 10 appointments on your calendar. That's how you know. Having appointments where you're going to share the products and the opportunity with people, whatever capacity that is, and they have dates and they have times and they have names, that's an appointment. You need to have a date, you need to have a time, and you need to have a name. Otherwise, you just have like action. Action is very different from appointments. Action creates appointments, but action is not appointments. Appointments have dates, times, and names, right? That's what gets you to where you need to be and gets you there sooner. So transactional. Trade your activity, right? You're investing your activity and start trading it for appointments. So you're going to make these time chunks where you're reaching out to people and connecting and trying to create appointments, and then you're going to be trading that office time or, focus time or whatever. You're going to be trading that for actual appointments where you're in front of people so that you can reach 40 new faces. Yay! It's like we cracked the code, right? We have to never forget how simple it's supposed to be because we get so stinking distracted. I do. Okay, so the second way you know if you need more activity, if you're not where you want to be. Do I need more activity on my calendar? Should I book more appointments for August? Yes, you should. If you're not exactly where you want to be today, you should. You know how else? If you are where you want to be, if you are living the dream and you are getting deposits left and right into your account, guess what? Oh, you better share this with other people. You know how to do this. Other people need what you have. Oh my gosh, please share it. Oh my goodness, please get more people started. Other people deserve this too. And they deserve you to help them for sure. How else do you know you need more appointments? If you're comparing. If you catch yourself comparing, if you got time to compare, you got time for more activity. And honestly, that's the only solve for it. The only solve for comparison is activity. The last thing is if you find yourself being critical. If you have a critical spirit, if you have criticism, if you have time to criticize, you absolutely need activity. Because when you are helping people with this business and you're helping a lot of people, there's not time for that. And you know how I know? Because I didn't have enough activity for this week. And I allowed that one thing to come in and steal a full 45 minutes to an hour of my day that I could have been changing people's lives. And instead, I almost let one person change mine. Shoot. Guys, that's the power of 30 to 60 minutes. That's the power of 5 minutes. You really, really can become an expert in time and using it to your advantage. And you don't want to get caught up on learning it the really, really hard way. So be in front of that. Be overscheduled because things cancel. Never think that you have too much activity because you will never run out of people. You can't have too much activity. You really can't. You can't. There's no way. Keep going. I'm sure you sleep sometimes. But your activity, so I'll just leave with this quote because it's like 5 after. Your activity is your own personal megaphone that tells the world what you believe. It's from Simon Sinek. And I used threw the word activity in there because I think he would have if he was in Arbonne. Your activity is the personal megaphone that tells the world what you believe about you, about this business, about where you're going, and why you're going there. You know what it also tells them? If they're invited. Your activity lets people know that they're invited. And the reason that some people will join your business and become a national vice president on your team is because you're still working, you're still going, you're still in activity, you're still sponsoring. You didn't put this down. You didn't slow this down. You didn't let someone who hurt your feelings stop you and steal an hour that turned into 2, that turned into days, that turned into weeks, that turned into months. You kept going. So whether you're just starting or you've been going for a long time, my implore for you is to keep going, but keep going in activity and start learning how to be way more transactional so that you can actually be transformational with people and have opportunities to share the passion that you have for this business and what it's done for you and the people that you love, including the people that you're introducing this to. So I love you guys. Thanks for having me. And go get into activity. Go get some appointments and stop listening to people that don't even do Arbonne because it's just ridiculous. I love you guys. Have a great night. And we're done.